All right, welcome back to Blue by 90, presented by Feldman Chevrolet of Highland. My name is Justin. I'm joined by Tanner today, and I don't even know where to start, if I'm being honest. Michigan got absolutely bodied by USC last night. 31-13 was the final. Um, you know, I think that it really the overall overarching thing is it was just like there wasn't anything that Michigan won at last night. There was no advantage for Michigan from start to finish. They were outplayed. I actually let's start with just like the beginning and the fact that Michigan hasn't scored first, I believe, in 6 of their last 7 games. It's basically a we spot them 7 points. We spot the opponent 7 points in almost every game. So that's my first issue. Obviously, there are a million more to talk about, but overall, this was not fun. Not fun to watch. Not fun to be a part of. Yeah, let's start there.
Yeah, it wasn't fun to watch. Not fun to think of potential ramifications because it's one thing to lose a football game in the Big Ten, with the new expanded conference, going to USC, going to Los Angeles. That's not an easy task. But the way that Michigan lost wasn't even close. Wasn't really that competitive. I mean, Michigan tied it 7-7 and then, gives up a 75-yard touchdown drive right at the 2 minute, right after or before the 2 minute warning. Um, Makai Lemon, we talked about him. That was concerning for going into the game, and he made a great play, and then 14-7, and Michigan goes 3 and out. I think it was a 3 and out, and then was it? I'm gonna be honest, Justin. I kind of blacked out watching the game, and it's early Sunday morning, and I haven't rewatched it. I need to, but it just felt like every turning point in this game that could allow Michigan to get momentum or to maybe, get back into it, just went USC's way.
Yeah.
3rd and 26. I mean, I, I don't know, man. I saw that play and I was like, we're blitzing both backers into the line.
For
If he
what?
makes one move, he's probably going to pick up some yards. And sure enough, he gets about 40.
No, I
Third.
think I think you're right in the fact. I was gonna put this out in a tweet as well. To be honest, I couldn't word it perfectly because I had too much to say. But you're definitely right in the fact of like the opportunities, and I think this is a common theme for Michigan this season, and even going back into last season is not taking advantage when you get opportunities. Right? Like I think that to be honest, Michigan had opportunities to put Wisconsin away. Couldn't do it. The defense was actually playing unbelievable against Wisconsin. That should have been a 21-point game, right? And they couldn't do it. Same thing with Nebraska. That game ends up being a 3-point game because Michigan doesn't take the opportunities when they get them. And so I don't I yesterday you had chances to make plays. You had chances to do all this, and you don't. And I think, unfortunately, here's where we're at with it is I don't know that these teams are. I don't know that this team is prepared to play well enough. I think that it starts with the coaches. I am not in that locker room. I'm not in that practice facility, so I don't know where and when it's starting and stopping. You know what I mean? But man, I think that it just it felt like we were not prepared to play a football game last night at all.
No, it felt like they were shell shocked on the first drive. Like it feels like Wink has never seen the screen. Like you were one of the most blitz happy coordinators in the Big Ten. I don't have the stats in front of me. If I had to guess, I mean the amount of times that I see, Houseman and Rolder coming into the A gap is like every other play.
Right.
You have no answer for their screens. You have no answers for when the tight end just runs a straight up seam route.
Well, why was there not? Here's my take. Okay, I said it to Caleb. We were at the Pretzel Bell drinking some Woodson whiskey last night. And I said, okay, after that first drive, it was very obvious that he was going to let our D linemen, let our edges, and let the backers get upfield and just dink and dunk right behind him. And I could see that from the TV thousands of miles away. We never made one adjustment. It didn't feel
No.
like all night.
No. You know how Michigan won a national championship with really great players that, for one, didn't miss tackles. The amount of missed tackles, and they talked about it in the fall camp previews or whatever the videos they did with Ed Kongursky, and talked about, having to tackle, having to teach tackling. Looks like they don't teach it very well. I mean, how many missed tackles did USC have?
Yeah, not many. I mean, we didn't shake anybody. And
All right, how many? I'm sorry, I'm talking about USC's offense. How many broken
oh,
tackles?
broken tackles.
How many missed tackles did they force?
Did they force? I mean, it was absurd. And also, that was by a walk-on running back. He was a walk-on. So
You had him stop. You had him stop 4th and 1 in
know.
the backfield. Brandon Hillman. I don't know what they teach him.
Can't wrap up.
I know he lays the wood. We think it's cool, but when it comes down to it, when you're a football player, you got to be able to wrap up. And he had a couple big missed tackles, right? Because that you make that play, you've got 1st and 10 at the 35 plus territory.
Yeah.
We give up the 3rd and 26. I just it's a lot of the same issues that kind of plagued the team last year in terms of going on the road, right? This happened last year. You're 4 and 1. I mean, the offense isn't great. You've got a good run game. Quarterback situation's very, very iffy, to be kind. Go out west, and you're basically shell shocked. And we've used that term a lot more than we've ever used during the Jim Harbaugh era, because they just don't look ready to play. Again, we're laughing on the sideline, down 18 points. Like I don't know where they go from here this season, but the concerns I had last year that I kind of put to the back of my head because of the way they finished the year, the way they recruited, and the way the future looked bright, they're rearing their ugly heads again. Yeah. Like this is the same conversation we had last year. Like we've had this exact show multiple times. Right. And
it was this same show was last year, the Washington game,
yes.
Last year, the Illinois game,
yes,
right? Where it's like, oh my God, that was the most winnable game ever. If you can just do a couple things right, and you can't when you need it.
Unfortunately, I don't know if this one was winnable. You gave up 7.2 yards per play for 490 yards. I mean, they got whatever they wanted. They had 2 turnovers within the red zone. This could have been an absolute blowout.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it was semi-competitive on the scoreboard. Michigan, Andrew Marsh, that's a bright spot, and we could talk about him, but he had a great game. He gets a touchdown in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, guess what? Oregon's probably already calling him.
Well,
I hate to be that guy, but I'm not saying that he's going to. That's the situation of how this is trending.
That's the least of my concerns right now, honestly, because this – all offseason, we heard from inside of Sam Beckler Hall, this defense is so talented. And we saw these guys play last year against Ohio State, but then against Alabama when Alabama didn't really have anybody out, getting ready for the draft in that game, right? And that's all we kind of heard about. And they got smoked, dude. Like, I don't know what – I don't really have any words for how badly they played.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not really close. They forced a couple turnovers, great job, but gave up 31. Those 2 turnovers stopped it from being 45. I mean, this looked like Michigan State's defense, and we clowned them. So joke's on us. We were completely wrong going into this game. We both were confident, and Michigan got their shit pushed in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's for sure. And then on the flip side of the ball, I mean, this is a USC defense that gave up a lot of points to Michigan State, a lot of points to Illinois, who scored 7 points against Indiana. Like, this is not a good USC defense. And there were multiple times last night where our offensive line just got pushed around, like legit. Like, it was not good. And there weren't holes for Justice Haynes and then Jordan Marshall because Haynes went out. I don't know. I mean, there was This offense needs to be a lot better than it is. And I am concerned for not only the rest of the year, but the future. You know, it's you cannot, I'm sorry, you cannot get pushed around by a USC defense that has never. When was the last time you heard anything about a USC defense being physical? And you got out physical. You're Michigan. Your whole thing is smash.
Yeah.
Your whole thing is be big bad bullies up front.
Yep.
You can't do that. That is completely unacceptable.
Yeah, this is one of those where there's like one of those podcasts for us where like I don't know. I mean, there was some, guys made plays. But I don't really have anything positive to talk about. I mean, the receivers, but
Well, and let's talk about that for a second because I think it's just kind of ironic that that's the one thing that everyone's been pointing to all year long. Like, hey, this is, the issue. We need to go get, receivers in the portal. We need to, let's give other guys a shot. All of a sudden we get Andrew Marsh is like coming into his own. Donovan McCulley's having a great game now. He's doing what he needs to do. And then everything else falls apart. And it's like we finally get that for Bryce, and literally everything else falls apart. And so, I mean, it was, there's it was as bad as the box score looks, if I'm being honest. It was probably worse.
yeah. Yeah, I mean Michigan, they had one drive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they get the touchdown to Marsh, makes a great play. They had one sustained drive. I mean, I'm gonna try not to crash out, but that's fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
Against a USC team. We talked about it on the podcast. I don't have it up in front of me. They gave up yards to Georgia Southern. I think Georgia Southern had more yards on USC than Michigan did.
I believe that we only
316 yards.
Missouri State, I believe, is the only team that scored 13 or less on USC.
Georgia Southern put up more points and yards. Put up more passing yards, rushing yards.
I mean, I hate everything about what I watched last night is all I'm gonna say.
I have to come in here and talk about it, bro. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I'm not happy. Even, to the point of what was it? So we ended up going down, was it 24-13 then?
24-7. Michigan scored with the Andrew Marsh. And Bryce made a great play, and then they go for 2 and don't get it.
And then what are you going for 2 for?
Well, the math says that it gives you a better chance to win the game. I don't really care that much about that.
To me, I mean, I don't know. Does it? I don't know.
The math says it does. Like the analytics says that is the move. Yeah,
the nerds say that.
I don't know. I see both angles, right? Like I see why you would want to follow the math, but then I also see that football's not just like a computer game. It is like real people and college kids, right? And the motivation is
momentum.
Yeah.
You need some momentum, and that after we had some, completely killed it, and there was visible frustration right after that. So you go down, finally score, and there's visible frustration. Now, if it goes the right way, then obviously it's the opposite. So you can, it's hindsight 2020, but that also was just not a good ball from Bryce, if I'm being fully honest. Donovan was open in the
pick.
The 2-point conversion.
Oh yeah. I didn't want to complain about officiating in a game that we got smoked, and we've already bitched about getting smoked. But there was some that interception. There was 21-7 at that point. McCulley gets spun around. I don't know how you don't call that. I mean, that was
literally spun around.
If Michigan had a chance in that game, that was the drive. And I mean, again, I mean, it's it ends up being inconsequential. But a little frustrating. But we called USC fans for bitching about officiating last year, so I don't want to do that. But interesting no call there. Didn't think that was on Bryce. Thought McCoy got spun around. But yeah, I really don't know what else to kind of talk about, man, because it just was an ass kicking. And again, the same theme as last year. It reminded me of the Oregon game a little bit in terms of, in the fourth quarter, like Michigan's down 11. It's like, hey, we got to stop, right? Like you had a huge play, short drive to get a touchdown, and then, I mean, for the 17th time, I think USC hit the seam route. Just it was open every play.
Every play.
There was just no adjustments made, and I think adjustments are a little bit overrated, like halftime adjustments, right? Like, you're not going to go in there and revamp your entire game plan, but like points of emphasis, like, hey, screens are killing us. Hey, seam routes killing us. Maybe we should do something
You
with
go
that.
back, you go to the sideline, go to the iPad, and you say, "Hey, Ernest Hausman, you need to go back with the tight end when we have other guys blitzing. Like, you need to be the one to cover him because he was covering grass on that long third down play." And just in general, like to your point, yeah, you're not going to change your whole philosophy, but you're going to be like, "Hey, let's keep our gaps, let's keep our ground instead of going 5, 6, 7 yards upfield," right? And like I it felt like we were banging our head against the wall trying to do the same thing 100 times in a row. And it was like, okay, is that Don Brown calling the defense? Because that's what that looked like, was let's just do the same thing 100 times in a row and never change.
Yeah, I think if you just run cover 2 exclusively, you might have a better performance than whatever was going on today. Yeah, man, it just, I think where if instead of just bitching, I think where I saw the game really kind of flip was that middle 8 portion, right? Like Michigan scores to tie it 7-7. You're like, okay, that's all right, because they had moved the ball, but they only had 3 drives in the first half because USC just had like 6-7 minute drives.
Yep.
So then USC goes down and they score. Makai Lemon. I mean, Jaden Sanders did all he could. That was great coverage. It was just a great ball and a great catch. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. So you're like, all right, well, we get the ball to half, well, 3 and out. And then I think, doesn't USC go down and score again? I think that next drive, was that the 3rd and 26 drive, I think, if I remember right?
Let me see. Yes, they do.
Yeah. Okay.
They scored right out of the gate.
So they dominate basically like the middle 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
So it goes from 7-7 to 21-7.
And then that you're 100% right.
And it's basically over. Like you never felt like Michigan was moving the ball effectively enough to really win this game without like a turnover, like a pick 6 or a scoop and score, or I'm not even going to say a punt return or a kick return because the special teams was horrible again. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. There's nothing. Is there anything good to talk about? I mean, I guess I will say Bryce played really well, I thought, for what he was given. And I was very nervous because he got rolled up on and then he just continued to play through the injury. I mean, the kid's tough, obviously. Justice Haynes looked good before he got hurt. The offensive line had some holes. Marshall missed some holes. I mean, Marshall had missed some cutback lanes, man.
Yeah.
That Haynes would have hit. I'm trying to think of positives, Justin. This is tough because you know me, I'm an optimist. But last night was really
it was not a game for the optimists. I think that I mean Andrew Marsh is very good, right? So that's one thing that
that's a nice 8 for 138 and a touchdown. I mean,
but here's my thing, like okay, I'm gonna go back negative. Is that okay?
Dude, I've been there all day.
There's not much else to say. I'm pumped about Andrew Marsh for sure, but I'm looking at these stats and I'm looking at like, okay, where's Marlon Klein? He had 1 catch.
Yeah, Marlon Klein, Hogan Haynes had 1 catch for 5 yards combined.
What I mean, where is that? That's something that like we started the year out with, rolling out Bryce and having, those little checkdowns, even the little out routes for 5+ yards. Like, where is that? Why is Donovan McCulley, after having an awesome game and looking like a good, solid receiver, only getting 3 catches? Like, why? Like, I just don't fully understand it. To your point, we really just didn't have many drives on this because USC had the ball for forever and dinked and dunked and never gave us a chance. So that is skewing the stats a little bit. But like, I mean, to your point, USC goes up 21-7. We come out, we go pass to Marlon for 5 yards, Marshall run for 7 yards. So you get a first down, and then you go -1 yard run to Jordan Marshall, 1 yard run for Bryce, incomplete pass, punt.
Nice.
Punt for 36 yards, by the way.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Um,
that was sick. I really
So
enjoyed that.
there's that, and
They
then
get the
you
ball
go,
at the 45-yard line, basically. Like,
yeah, and then they get that. Your defense does bail you out after giving up a lot of yards, but bails you out with the pick, and then you go down, and you're actually driving pretty well, and then Michigan was driving pretty well,
Yeah.
and then you throw the pick, and it's like,
yeah, that drive, so I got it mixed up because the Marsh touchdown was with 10 minutes left. But that drive was like, hey, if you want to be in this game, you have to score here. Again, I mean, that's not the reason Michigan lost, but that should have been a pass interference or at least a defensive holding. McCauley gets spun around, right? That's why the ball's so far in front of him. I don't know how that gets missed. So, this was a closer game. There'd probably be more officiating things I would complain about because there were some missed calls and some bad calls in this game. But, it is what it is, part of football. Michigan's not going to call a year, and it is what it is. So, yeah, man. Basketball, that's going to be sick. The Lions.
Also, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna keep going.
No, please do. I'm like, this is because there's like, if this was like, 31-28, it's like, oh man, we, this play
We're
here,
right
that play
there.
here, but it's like they're all just a lot of negative plays for Michigan. And again, there's some bright spots, especially Marsh. Like that was a really good game, a kind of a breakout game for him. I mean, he's had 218 yards in his last 2 games, so like you found something there.
Well, what I was gonna say, I'm going back negative, so
No,
I'm just going against.
there's nowhere else. Where else can you go?
There,
If you,
there
if
really
we
isn't.
talked about Andrew Marsh like 4 times every time we're like getting too negative. Where else can you go?
I'm laughing through the pain. I'm laughing through the pain. Here's one of the most concerning, but least not surprising. Jaden Davis comes in, and I feel for the kid because I think he's a good kid, and whatever. I mean, that was one of the worst throws I've ever seen.
I didn't
And
even see it, brother. I'm gonna be honest. I was out.
I mean, there was nobody, like, he overthrew it, and the separation from Bryce to him is like shocking.
Did you have a panic attack? Because I
When?
did when Bryce was limping.
Yes, especially because of the moment of the game. Like it very well could have been. I'm not saying Bryce would do this, but it could be like a situation where it's like, we're gonna take him out because we need him in the long run, and it's not worth it, and we're already down, right? Like that type of thing. And yeah, those roll-ups can be brutal on ankles and knees and whatever else. So yes, I did have a panic attack.
Yeah.
So thankfully that didn't seem like it was that big of an issue. But no, I mean that's concerning to me. Just like to that point, if anything were to happen to Bryce, I mean we're back to 2024.
I mean, not great, right?
I'm just saying, dude. I'm like,
well, no, you got Mikey Keene. See,
well, why is Mikey Keene not going in then? What?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I don't know how this coaching staff operates. Yeah, dude. Like, we're 24 minutes in, and I have no idea what else to talk about because I was just so frustrated.
Well, my question here is, where do we go from here?
I mean,
I think now all of a sudden you have Jed Fish coming in with Washington, who is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
well, we've talked about it.
good.
I've said it, right? Like, you get through this stretch, and it's like home stretch to the Ohio State game. Now it's like, well, shit, it might be just last year again, because you got a home game. This is going to tell me a lot because I'm very, again, disappointed with how these guys looked. Because I see people like, oh, it's a talent gap. No, it's not.
Not at all.
A talent issue.
We have tons of NFL players on the field at all times.
It's not a talent issue. So this is, again, extremely disappointing with how the team looked last night. I think this is going to tell me a lot about this staff and these players and how they come to work this week and get ready for a big game against Washington. It's going to be a sleepy one, though. 12 o'clock. Gonna be a
That's what
low
worries me,
key
dude.
tailgate.
People aren't
People
gonna
are
give a shit.
snoozing.
Like I mean, we've had these tailgates, we've had the games of a noon game at home after you lose. I mean, obviously, this is a bigger opponent than when Central Michigan came to town after the Oklahoma game. But I'm not counting on this team being like, jacked up to go play football next Saturday,
You got to
right?
bring your own juice, right?
You do have to bring your
That's
own
what
juice.
great teams do, man. Like, and that's why coaches, yeah, schematically are really important in college, but it's about the motivation. That's why guys like Kurt Signetti have success, right?
Dan Lanning,
Dan Lanning, they're
I know that
motivators. Kirby
they lost.
Smart, like they're good. They're great X's and O's guys too.
Yeah,
But it's about the motivating of these 18 to 22-year-olds, right? Because
I will say, like, that is not the one thing that I thought would be the issue with Sherrone Moore, because he's a player's coach. These guys love Sherrone Moore. I want to make that clear. Like, this is he is very, very well liked in that building. And so I thought it would be more the experience side of things, right? And like, the game situations, which we've seen some issues there. I did not think that it would be tough to get guys up, because you did see it in the Ohio State game last year when you had basically nothing to play for. Like, those guys still got up. You had them like jacked up.
well, if you
And
come to Michigan, you can't get up for that game regardless of record, then there's something wrong with you. Right?
I'm with you, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
that was
it just.
yeah.
I'm with you though too. Like, I don't know if you can really quantify it, but it's like a feeling when you watch it. It's just like it's not there.
Yeah.
Like, they're playing hard, but they're not fired up. They're not. You watch some teams around the country, and you watch that 2023 Michigan team. No matter who they played, like, they were gonna go kill somebody. Right?
It's
And
the
this is
edge.
different. Yeah,
It's
this
having
just
the edge, right? And then I think about Mikey Sainer still a lot. And like,
Yeah.
obviously we all are aware that he's one of the Michigan football goats, like, just unbelievable. But he was never ever unprepared for a football game. Never ever was he not ready to play, not jacked up. He had his guys around him ready to go. And I think we're just sitting here. Here's my take on it, is like, everyone's kind of looking around like, who's going to be that guy, and I like Bryce a lot, but I don't think you can look to your freshman quarterback for that. And I think he plays with fire and passion. You see him jacked up, dancing, whatever it is. I don't know that that's like as much the team stuff as much as it is like jacking himself up. Not saying he's like a selfish guy. That's just kind of what I'm seeing. But you're just kind of looking for somebody to be the Mikey Sainer still. And I don't know that we have one. I love Max Bredesen, and he is, he's as Michigan man as it gets. But even like a Marlin, who's a captain, Marlin's a pretty quiet guy, to be honest. So you're looking, all right, I think everyone, I guess, to round that all up in one thing is the where do we go from here, is like, who's going to step up to the plate and be like, hey, this is what we're going to be. This is what we're going to be for the rest of the year. And this is how we're going to attack each game and each week.
Yeah, because we did, dude. I'm having deja vu, man. Because I said this last year. Yeah, everything's in front of you. Like, you're still in it. You just have to win every game now, right? You have to win out.
And let me be clear. Sorry, before you finish that thought, this was not the national championship year, right? Like, this was not even we were thinking 9-3, 10-2 is still a good year. So that is still in front of you. So, but it just can't keep trending the way it's trending. Sorry, finish your thought.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this wasn't the national championship year, but you expected this team to not get blown out, right? By a USC team that a lot of people had some question marks coming into 2025. The defense specifically. Yeah, I don't really have much more than I'm just extremely disappointed, pretty surprised by how bad they looked. We were both very wrong. Like, we thought Michigan was going to win, and I'll own that. That's fine.
Well,
but
honestly,
just the way they lost.
Yeah, totally. If they lose, like you said, if they lose 31-28 and, it's a battle because, you're trying to slow down their defense and you just can't because it's Lincoln Riley and they do have a ton of weapons. That's a different story. But you were never in this football game, really.
No.
So and it's both sides of the ball. I'm super disappointed in the offense, to be honest. This was an opportunity. I think what we said, this was an opportunity for Bryce to go sling it, right? Like, hey, let's go put some points on the board. This is a defense. This was the opportunity where we can have the offense go win us a football game, and they did not. Did not even put us in the realm. So, I mean, the other bigger where do we go from here question is with coaching. I think that I'm not like, I know there's a ton of fire Sharon and blah, blah, blahs on the internet right now. Super fair criticism overall. I'm not there yet of like, hey, we need to get him out. But I think that you need to see things addressed and adjusted in real time. That is how good coaches make adjustments, right? That's how good coaches end up with winning football teams. And so to your point on like feeling like it's deja vu, that is the sign of a not good coach, is when you have the same issues over and over and over again. And so what I'm looking for is, I'm not really anywhere near like the fire Sharon thing yet, because this was not supposed to be the year. If we're singing the same tune next year, we'll have a different conversation. But I think that you're sitting here, you just need this team to progress. You need this team to get better, and they took a big step backwards last night.
Yeah, this week needs to, starting with this morning, getting in late last night, I'm sure, but I think you need to have I don't know what their schedule is, but I think you need to challenge each other, you need to challenge players, you need to challenge coaches. This almost needs to be like an intervention type sit down as a team, and really challenge guys of what you want your last year here at Michigan to be, especially the seniors, right? Like talking to those guys. What do you want your legacy at Michigan to be? Those seniors, if they were here, won a national championship, great. But that wasn't their team. What do you want your legacy to be? And that's the same shit we talked about last year going to the Ohio State game, right? With the juniors. Like, yeah, you won a national championship, you played a huge part, but like think of how we think of those guys and how much different, even though yes, they won a national championship, so they're cemented as legends, but like, you know how much I love Mason Graham for balling out in that game when he didn't need to. He was gonna be a top 5 pick regardless.
Yes.
Right? Like that kind of stuff for me, I think means something. And so I think for Sharon, this needs to be a very spirited week of practice. It needs to be a great week of workouts, right? No Ben Herbert anymore, as we know, but get Justin Truss, like get those guys, like it needs to be like an emotional week of practice, of workouts, watching film. Like it's got to be a difficult week.
This is
but
where
it's got to be productive, right? Like that's what it has to be.
This is where the foxhole guys come into play, right? Like you need to. All right, this is you're halfway through the year, right? Halfway through, and this is where teams either fall apart or come together. And right now, this is a huge week for Michigan football to, like you said, all right, players only meeting type situation. Let's get together. Let's hunker down. Let's get this shit in order, and let's end the year on a good note. Like that, you still, to your point, you've got 10-2 in front of you still, and it's very achievable. Even 9-3, obviously 9-3 takes you out of the playoff, but after what happened in the Big Ten last night, the Big Ten's still wide open, right? I think obviously Ohio State is very good. There's no doubt about that. But you have a one-loss Oregon. You've got a 3-3 Penn State now. Indiana looks very good, but you have opportunities, right? And so to your point, it is right now. It's a time of like, all right, who are we going to be at the end of this season? Who are we going to be?
Yep.
So,
'Cause you still control your destiny, right? Because there's 2
yeah,
undefeated teams in the Big Ten. Everyone else has at least 1 loss. I guess, the USC lost, so we'll see what that looks like. But you at least, I think, control your destiny in terms of the college football playoff.
yes,
And again, this was not gonna be a national championship year, but to your point, it feels still wide open, right? Like, I think Ohio State's clearly kind of the best team right now. I think Indiana's up there. I don't know. It's been a weird year in college football. I think Miami,
also
hot take, Miami's the best team in college football.
Miami's very good. Also, that win by Kurt Cignetti in Indiana is maybe the most impressive win I've
That's
seen in a long time, man.
that's a
That is
legitimate win. That's
that
that's that's a big time win.
I tweeted it yesterday. Like, that's probably the biggest win in Indiana football history. They've never had a top 3 road win before. And I mean, for him to come in and do that is, the Google Me shit was like corny and we were dogging on him last year. But
You notice he's toned that down too this
he
year.
has, I think.
Well, and I think he doesn't need to do it anymore.
No, because he
Yeah.
literally is proving it.
I mean, yeah. Um,
Which,
yeah. Year
I
2,
mean,
by the
you
way.
don't
Year 2 for him.
you don't want to get into the comparisons, but yes, he's showing the roadmap to how to do it.
And it's not even just the wins and losses for me. It's just the way that his teams play for him.
Oh my God, they're
They don't make
flying
mistakes.
around.
They play
They're
their tails off. They play smart football. Yeah, people think he's a douchebag or whatever, but he clearly knows something about coaching football. And he
yes.
gets guys to play for him hard. He gets guys to believe and to buy in. Dude, like Indiana football has been horrible
Indiana
for
football.
my entire life. And before that, I remember I grew up in Indiana, right? Like I lived in Michigan as a kid, but the majority of my life I lived in northern Indiana. I remember how big of a deal it was when they made a bowl game in the late
Yes.
2000s.
I actually saw the tweet. I don't know. You know the brand Home Field?
Yes.
No free ads, but the kid that started that company tweeted yesterday. He said, "I started this company because I was so excited after Indiana went 6-6 and won a bowl game." Like, that is legit, and they are dominating right now. Like, they are a legitimate national title contender at the moment, and a powerhouse in the Big Ten. So, I mean, the script is there. So, I'm going to say, again, that is a little bit of an outlier, right? It's still very difficult to coach football and get guys, all rowing in the right direction in 2 years, a year and a half essentially under Sharon Moore. But it's possible, right? It's very possible. So I think that, I'm not like hot seat type of guy, but pressure's on, to be honest. The pressure is heightening for sure. And to your point, I don't like, yes, I want to win football games, but I want to see this team be disciplined and play good football. That is what I'm looking for. Be physical, do all that. So, and we've seen it, but we've seen it in spurts. We haven't seen it consistently under Sharon Moore quite yet. I was just going to say, if we want to go with another bright spot, there was one bright spot yesterday, and that was Michigan State's the worst team in the country, I think. So somehow we didn't look good either, but they somehow looked worse.
Yeah, but we have expectations,
That's
like,
true.
I'm excited for basketball, but I don't want to think about basketball at least until the end of the month.
Yes, I agree.
So, yeah, I mean, we've gone 40 minutes. I don't have much more to add, man.
This is
like
it.
I hate this because, we're vibes guys.
We are vibes.
That's what we're bringing to the table. It's not deep dives, analytics, scheme stuff. We don't know that shit. I just like to have a good time, watch Michigan football, man. I mean, I understand a little bit, but
No,
I don't have much more to bring to the table, unfortunately.
I mean, yeah, like we're not gonna get on here and like break down, what happened, what went wrong, in depth, but I think everyone can kind of tell, even if you're a casual ball watcher, of like that Michigan just looked unprepared and everything to and yeah, it's not a good look. It's not a good look, and we'll see where they go from here. So, at home at Washington, you know what? here's the thing, though. We'll be out there.
We'll be
We
there.
will be out there. I'm going to be there at the lot at fucking 6 a.m. because that's what we do. That is what we do.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's time. This is when the real fans separate themselves.
Yep.
Right? So we're going to be out there.
Then, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're going to be there. It's going to be colder.
I
Be able
love
to
it.
wear
though.
pants to the function.
I want
as
it.
we talked about.
Could be
Maybe a hoodie.
40s, 30s, maybe at 6 a.m. You never know.
I actually think, though, let me check the weather really quick because, yeah, it's going to be high 70 on Saturday. So, with rain. So, we're still in this warm weather holding pattern. But you know what? That's better than 86 degrees getting a farmer's tan. I don't know how about you, but I had a farmer's tan this week from the game. Thankfully, we were on the Michigan side. I think you guys were too. So the sun peeked down over the press box. But Caleb and Jordan were on the other side. I think they probably got it worse than us. So we'll be there though, man. We'll be there. We'll be there.
Rain or shine. Rain or shine, we'll be there. The real ones are gonna stick out going forward here. So for us, you can follow us at Blue by 90 on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Blue by 90 Podcast on YouTube and blueby90.com. We appreciate you. Go Blue.
Go Blue.